To go from this declaration of love to Rick's knee-jerk reaction, Minmei running interference, and to top it all off with a massive surprise attack was a real whiplash watching this as a kid, and certainly caught my attention. It was almost as if the sudden devastation all around our heroes matched the surprise attack and devastation each of them felt internally at that same moment. KHYRON's attack was so fierce, I couldn't imagine how the good guys were gonna get out of this one. Rick's quick thinking saved he and Minmei once again, but even I was worried what happened to Lisa. I'm sure Rick was hoping Minmei would seek shelter, but shouldn't have been surprised she followed him as he ran to find if Lisa was okay. Rick ran through the city streets, already bathed in fire and heat, bodies strewn about, like running through hell itself. But he'd go through hell and back to find Lisa if he must. As he searched all around, he fortunately hears a familiar voice groaning not far away. Running to where Lisa was lying, he worried if she was seriously hurt. She read that look in his eyes and quickly reassured him she's all right, while also being moved that he'd come after her. Immediately, she began assessing the situation all around, as these two soldiers automatically begin working the problem together, as they had several times while watching each other's backs.
Oh no! Lisa! Lisa! Oh no!
I'll be all right.
Just take it
was
easy.
so sudden, what's happened?
We're under attack. It appears to be Zentradi weapons.
You mean they've sent reinforcements?
No. I don't think it's reinforcements. There's only one ship.
If only they'd communicated this clearly and quickly in their personal lives, as well as their professional. But if Rick had learned anything in the last few minutes, it's that there was no time to waste, and after her heartfelt declaration of her feelings, he also needed to open up and tell her how he felt, while they still had time. Lisa's first instinct was to get to the battle fortress and do her duty, but as she faints a bit, Rick is there to catch her, and knew he would do so for the rest of their lives, however long that would be.
I've got to get back to the SDF-1.
Wait! You're not going anywhere. You're too weak. I'll take care of you, Lisa, because I love you.
What? What did you say, Rick? I'm not just dreaming this, am I?
And there it was, that overdue declaration, the thing they'd been holding back from each other for far too long, afraid the other wouldn't reciprocate, wouldn't share those same feelings. They'd gone back and forth for so long, only growing closer in that time, but always afraid to take that next step. Now, there were no more boundaries between them, no more disguises or hiding or dancing about, no more running away. After everything they'd experienced together, they knew and admitted to each other they loved each other and were truly meant to be. Yet, as wonderful as that was, to finally realize together, they both knew how much this was bound to hurt Minmei.
Oh, Rick, thank goodness you're all right. Come on, we have to get to the shelter. Oh, please, Rick, come on. You can't leave me like this.
Minmei would have done anything to keep Rick out of danger, but more than that, to keep him by her side. And to Rick, that illustrated one of the biggest differences between Minmei and Lisa. He loved them both, and they loved him, but Minmei had grown completely dependent on Rick for her happiness. and refused to let that go.
You can't
Wait.
go! What about me?
She was being so possessive of Rick, and maybe that was from her own immaturity, or the fact that Rick had been chasing her early on, and she'd inadvertently took that for granted. She had no ill intent here. She was just lost and clinging too tightly to him, expecting him and others to fix her own problems and help her be happy. Contrast that to Lisa, who from the very beginning simply cared about what she could do to help Rick be happy, even encouraging him early on to not give up hope of a life with Minmei, despite her own growing feelings for Rick. She was ready to let Rick go if she had to, if it was best for him, and continue working on herself and her own happiness if she must, even to the point of leaving Rick, Minmei, and the entire Earth behind. Rick cared for them both and would have them both be happy. The boy in him loved the girlish charm of Minmei and her can-do attitude, her talents, her smile and ambition. But the man in him had more in common with Lisa, her ability and strength, and their similar goals to help and serve others, to defend humanity and its allies, and work together to solve the problems of the world. Rick had to trust that Minmei would be all right, and wished he'd had more time to discuss this all, but circumstances in the form of KHYRON prevented that. Yet it was Lisa who, characteristically, took charge to let Minmei know what the current situation was all around.
Listen, Minmei. Rick and I are both soldiers and we have our duty to perform.
I know that, but,
Listen!
I,
If you really love him, let go of him.
what?
He's a pilot. That's his life.
You call that a life? War, devastation, battle after battle until everything is destroyed?
We're trying to put an end to all that, Minmei.
We hate this war as much as you do. We're fighting to preserve the future of all mankind.
There's no future.
We have to go,
Don't go,
Rick.
Rick. Stay here.
I can't.
Please.
Minmei, let go of me. If you don't understand it yet, after all that's been said, then there's no chance you ever will.
I don't understand. How could you do this to me if you love me? I won't let you do it. No.
Minmei, stop that. I want a normal life as much as you or anyone.
Then why?
I can't think about myself. Not when the future of the whole human race is at stake.
No, Rick.
Let go, Minmei.
Please.
Let go.
No.
Someday you'll understand, Minmei. Someday you'll understand.
Understand? I'll never understand. Oh, Rick. No.
Kyle's influence ran deep, it seemed, as Minmei voiced his similar anti-war sentiments. She cried after Rick as he left her, still unwilling to let him go, let him fight, which goes to show she'd forgotten what Rick was first and foremost. A hero. KHYRON's ship was still many miles away, and from this distance his sensors could only make out the familiar silhouette of Zor's battle fortress, without realizing he was actually seeing the newly landed SDF-2 sitting back to back with the legendary vessel. All KHYRON knew was they'd soon be within firing range, and he would finally wipe that infernal fortress out of existence. Lisa entered the newly installed bridge of the SDF-2, getting a status report from Vanessa. Ideally, they would have had time for a shakedown to break in this new ship, but there had been barely time to warm up the engines, let alone power up the untested weapons systems against this attack. KHYRON could tell as much, and would not give it the chance to mount a counteroffensive.
SDF-1 now coming into range, sir.
Main gun at full power and standing
goodbye.
My revenge is well worth waiting for. Admiral Glowvall is going to wish he'd never heard of me.
Enemy ship's still closing fast. Range now 20 miles. I'm getting high-level radiation readings.
Vanessa?
They're firing on us, Captain.
The main gun of KHYRON's ship was not as powerful as that of the SDF-1's, but it didn't need to be. The surrounding city melted under the blast of his beam, the brunt of it smashing into the middle of the SDF-2, blowing away many of the systems and personnel inside the new ship, rupturing every section as Lisa, Vanessa, and the rest screamed as the Earth's best defense was destroyed all around them. Rick had just gone up, his squad readying their defense, when he saw the blast strike the SDF-2. The light had been blinding, and just as Rick recovered his vision, his wingman reported to him the condition of Lisa's ship.
SDF-2 has taken a direct hit. We've lost communications. What? It looks pretty bad.
Yeah, pretty bad, all right.
Sir, they're listing. They're sinking, Captain.
Minmei and the other townsfolk, on their way to emergency shelters, watched in horror as they witnessed the SDF-2 descend to the bottom of the lake, feeling the same sinking feeling in their stomachs, wondering if mankind would survive this final Zentradi assault. Rick tried desperately to get a response from the new battle fortress, from Lisa, but to no avail.
SDF-2? SDF-2, do you read me? Lisa! Captain Hayes! Lisa, it's Rick! Answer me! They'll pay for this?
Even as his squadron engaged with KHYRON's contingent of fighters and power armor, Rick quickly slices through them all, heading for KHYRON's very ship. He assaults it with everything Skull One can throw at it, ready to tear this ship apart piece by piece and kill KHYRON for good. Damage control systems worked to put out fires and mitigate losses as crewmen scurried about helping each other. Sammy and Vanessa both confirmed they had no helm control and power was draining quickly. Lisa had to face the facts. The ship was lost after such an attack, and what was left of the crew had to abandon the SDF-2 now or become part of its watery grave. As Lisa considered what to do, what Captain Glowvall would have done in this instance, she realized that they still had one other ship, one that had come through for them time and time again. And if Lisa knew Glowvall like she was sure she did, there was a chance he'd already considered it as a contingency. Lisa headed out and her crew followed. It didn't take long to make it all the way to the bridge of the SDF-1 at their speed. However, the girls were all somewhat surprised to see Claudia and Glowvall had already had the same idea and beaten them to their destination.
Welcome aboard, ladies. What took you so long? Now get to your positions.
It's Claudia!
And Admiral Glowvall.
Don't just stand there. We have a job to do.
You mean, sir, will the ship still fly?
Well, now, there's only one way to find out, isn't there?
Yes, but what about the weapons, sir? Will they work?
They should, as long as the power supply holds up.
What about the main gun, sir?
Enough power for one firing. We'll have to make sure it's effective. Okay, battle station.
Yes, sir. Computer countdown is already programmed, sir.
Give me maximum power on all thrusters.
Power levels at maximum capacity, sir. All systems are go. Ready for immediate liftoff on your mark.
Drive system is operational and the clock is running. 4 seconds to ignition. 3, 2, 1.
Take her up.
Hey, look! The SDF-1 is taking off! It's taking off! It's true! The SDF-1 is taking off! Come see for yourself!
I can't believe it!
That's wonderful! I've never seen anything
Wow,
like
look at it go! Our prayers are answered!
Main gun in ready position, standing by. Energy reading at present, 950.
The Admiral was right. That's only enough energy for one shot, so make it a good one.
The Veritech squadrons, including Max and Miria's, had been engaging in a fierce battle directly with KHYRON's gunship, denying them the ability to react quickly to this new threat rising from the water. But none had caused so much disruption as Rick had. He still bravely tore through the weapon systems on KHYRON's ship until he swore he heard a familiar voice coming over the comm. The most welcoming voice he could have hoped to hear in that moment.
Rick Hunter, is that you?
Lisa! I must be hearing things!
No, you aren't. I'm aboard the SDF-1, Rick. We are preparing to fire the main gun, so I strongly suggest you get out of there.
You don't have to tell me twice!
As Rick abandons his relentless raid of vengeance, he's spotted by Miria, who calls to Max to help fly cover for Rick as he makes his escape.
There's Rick. Let's fly cover for him, Max.
Roger. This is Skull Squadron number 1, and we're moving out.
Lisa radios them all, telling them to hurry as the main gun is nearly ready to fire. Rick, Max, Miria, and the other fighters make their hasty exit from the battle, just in time for Global to give the order to fire. A powerful shot from the SDF-1 bursts forth, quickly crossing the miles of distance to KHYRON's ship. While lacking the power the SDF-1 used to have, the blast is enough to decimate a good portion of KHYRON's craft as it tries to evade, wrecking the powerful cruiser and ruining KHYRON's glorious victory. But not this time. Not again. Even missing an eye, with Grell dead on the floor behind. KHYRON would not let victory be snatched from him by these Micronian insects once more.
All right, they've had their fun. Now it's our turn. Now I'll show them.
Now what?
They cannot erect a defense barrier without any power, correct?
Right. They're helpless. Get them.
We both will. It requires a sacrifice. Are you willing to face it with me, Azonia?
It will be glorious.
Yes. Glorious.
This final shot of the SDF-1 had stressed it beyond its limits. The once mighty ship's own main gun pylons disintegrating as the ship, now drained of power, began settling back towards the lake, with Lisa and the rest of the crew holding on as it descended. Yet KHYRON would not let it go that easily. He and Azonia had locked the guidance systems of their ship onto Zor's battle fortress to make one final attack against it.
The enemy isn't altering his course, sir. It looks like he plans to ram us.
Sammy, do we have any power left?
Not enough to activate the main gun again, sir.
Kim?
Same story here. I have no helm control.
Our reserve power is depleted too, sir.
Brace for collision!
What's he doing?
The damage done to the SDF-1, to Macross City all around it, had been catastrophic. Although KHYRON had somewhat won this Pyrrhic victory even in his own demise, he would have been annoyed to know that although the city had been destroyed, the people of Macross had once again survived, thanks to the super-dimensional fortress that protected them. But the cost had been high, and this would be the last time the SDF-1 would or could save mankind. As for the crew who had guided her in her purpose, Rick flew around and around, trying to find any survivors, unable to ascertain if anyone had lived through the collision which had finally beaten the mighty battle fortress, if Lisa was still alive, and, by some miracle, she was. He found her at the water's edge, looking no worse for wear, and landed near her, simply hoping he was not seeing a ghost.
Lisa! But how? Oh, Lisa, I thought you were...
At the last moment, Admiral Gloval pushed me into an ejection module.
In the novel, we experience the scene as Lisa tries to get the ship to respond, but it's Gloval who knows she must be the one to usher mankind into the future. He and Claudia together basically make Lisa take the small ejection module to safety, as the rest of the crew meet their fate. Although Lisa was grateful to them and saddened at their sacrifice, she knew there would be time to mourn, to process it all. But she was so overjoyed to see Rick in this moment, to see that he was safe, to know they may finally have a future together after all. Minmei saw them too, and her heart swelled with warmth knowing they had survived this tragedy. Her eyes filled with tears as she approached them, tears of joy, but also sorrow. Yet seeing them together felt right. She had to admit it to herself, as she felt the confirmation of it in her heart. And in this moment, she knew this was Rick's destiny, to fly, to fight, to save others. And she knew she must let him go.
I thought I'd lost you, just when I'd come to realize how much you mean to me.
Rick, Lisa, thank heaven you're both all right.
I have to tell you something. Minmei...
You're in love with Lisa? I knew that.
Forgive me. Will you?
Oh, Well, yes, I can forgive you if you can forgive me.
Why?
Well, for trying to turn you into something you aren't, and, for pretending to be something I'm not.
Rick wasn't sure what she meant exactly, but he could guess. She confirmed that she was running away from her own dreams before, her own destiny, by attempting to settle down and have a normal life. But seeing Lisa and Rick come together in their shared destiny of fighting to save mankind, she had realized that it was her destiny to inspire it, to give it hope, just like Rick had said.
But so many people are depending on us, Minmei. They look for me for protection, and you to give them inspiration, hope.
Lisa shared with Minmei her gratitude and appreciation to Minmei, and her admiration for the choices she was now making to follow her dreams once again. Rick was elated to see both of these women whom he cared for, whom he loved in so many ways, come together as friends, as they all gave their unconditional support to one another. As Minmei prepared to move on and let this new happy couple come together at last, she gave Rick one parting kiss, asking him to never forget her, no matter what, as if he ever could. As Minmei waved goodbye, heading off to become her true self, to make her path to her dreams once more, Rick and Lisa watch her begin her journey as they take in the ruined city, the destroyed ships behind them, and wonder, how do they now begin their journey?
Rick, what about our mission? Both of our battle cruisers have been destroyed. How can we get to the stars?
We'll build the SDF-3, Lisa, and together we'll get there. Yeah, we'll go to the stars and beyond. I promise you that, Lisa.
We will.
Be my love, share my dream, my hero.
Yes, we will. We'll go to the stars and beyond.
Rick Hunter and Lisa Hayes, together at last, ready to lead mankind as it expanded out to the stars and beyond. Although their story would continue, this chapter of it, this saga, had come to a close. The first Robotech war was over, and as I watched this album shut and Lisa's hand move away before it faded to black, I felt amazed at this epic tale I had witnessed, this grand space opera that had so captivated me. It's only now, looking back on it, that I realize how much influence on me it's really had, and to what lengths it shaped me as a person. The lessons of war and peace, of love and hate, and the brave heroes and terrifying villains who taught me all of it. I couldn't have been more satisfied or more excited to see what else Robotech had to offer. The Masters, the Invid, the Bioroids, Alphas, and especially the Cyclones. There was still so much to experience, but it would be years before I could see it all in its entirety. Thanks to Bash, though, we at least had the Macross saga to tide us over. To show all my friends, and to relive again and again. I'm grateful to you all for reliving this journey with me, and hope you have all found this series as inspiring as I have. There's more yet to come, but for this portion of Robotech, I hope I've helped show you at least a few of the reasons of. Here's why it's cool.
Maybe we should all go underground and try to